Hello and welcome to the Vancouver SEO Expert video series by ANTSAND. And today what I want to talk about is the importance of having a content calendar. So what exactly is a content calendar? Now, if you're doing inbound marketing, that is basically providing a lot of content either through social media, writing blogs, doing podcasts, doing videos, you want to make sure that you're structuring and being systematic about your content creation, which is to say that are you planning way ahead in terms of in week one, how are you going, what kind of content are you planning to write or speak or do a podcast on? So the whole idea of having a content calendar is to make sure that you have a plan for the next few weeks or months, and you're trying to accomplish a particular objective so that you are able to reach a broader set of your audience. And the whole idea of doing this is to make sure that the message that you are communicating is a singular message, and you're positioning your brand based on that particular message. So in our case, we want to position our brand for, say, Vancouver SEO Expert. So every content that we want to produce will be based on whether it fits that particular objective. A lot of times what I see is people produce content and 75% of the content is irrelevant to what they're trying to accomplish. And then they criticize, saying that content does not work, inbound marketing does not work. And inbound marketing is nothing but when people read your content, they come to your website or to your channel, and then they subscribe. And then if the prospect is interested in your service, then you might be able to convert them to customers, and you're doing this in a more subtle manner. You're not going out there and doing cold calls, or you're not going out there and doing door-to-door marketing, but prospects are coming to you because you're putting out some value out there. So that's in essence what inbound marketing is. So what a content calendar does is to help you produce content across any channel that you're using, but focus on an objective so that your prospects only hear that one message, but they're hearing information related to that one particular brand or message that you want to talk about. So as I mentioned, in this particular case, we want to position our brand for Vancouver SEO Expert. And under SEO Expert, we can talk about digital marketing, social media, we can talk about content creation, inbound marketing, outbound marketing, we can talk about programming, UI, UX design. They all fit into what SEO is. So the objective is still SEO, but the information that we can talk about is very vast, it's very broad. So, but it's still under the SEO category. But what we won't talk about is, we won't talk about, our travel plans. We're not going to talk about what food we're cooking. We're not talking about our personal life. We could, but most likely we wouldn't, because it's not part of the objective. So the whole idea of having a content calendar is to make sure that your objective is being very clear. And in our case, we basically say the objective is to rank for, say, Vancouver SEO Expert. Once you know your objective, then you need to figure out what kind of content you want to write. And the way you write your content is generally periodically, which is like in week one, you're going to do this, week two, you're going to do this, week three, you're going to do this, and whatnot. And because you can express your content in so many different channels, which is I can do a video, extract the audio, and make a podcast. I can make a video, extract the content, extract the text, transcribe it, and then I've got a blog. So you can even do those kind of things as well. You can basically summarize your video and then create a checklist or an ebook or whatnot. So in week one, when you say, for example, today I want to talk about content calendar. So this whole week, what I would do is extract information on content calendar and then express it through different modalities. So I would write a blog on this. I would create a podcast on this. I'm creating a YouTube on this, or a video on this. And then I would share this all on social media. I might create a checklist on this. Or for a matter of fact, that if you scroll down, you will see a link to where you can download the ANTSAND content calendar checklist. So you can print it out and then you can write it down. And you can write and plan your content for the next 10 weeks. So that's how you make sure that your content for the week is being. That's how you basically produce content. And once you create all of this, then you can post this couple of times a day on social media as well. Because by the time you come to, like, say, week 10, you would have so much content in all different forms that you can share it across multiple channels. So on Facebook, if you're sharing your blog, then on Twitter, you can share your podcast. And then on LinkedIn, you can share your video. And then you can keep repeating this. So similarly for week 2, if you're talking about content calendar, next week I can talk about SEO, then I can talk about conversion optimization. I can talk about UI and UX design for better SEO. I can talk about the psychology of persuasion and how it helps in digital marketing. I can talk about red ocean versus blue ocean strategy. I can talk about the 5 elements that every web page must have. So you can see how I've just basically extracted content for the next 10 weeks or so, and then I would go all in and just take everything from that content so that I can apply it and produce it in different forms. Most people are not consistent in their content creation is because they don't have a plan, and they have a plan that is not focused. As I mentioned, that you can create a lot of content, but if it does not accomplish the overall objective, then it's not really going to be effective. So whenever you're doing inbound marketing, your job is to always first focus on what exactly is your content going to revolve around. And I'm repeating myself out here because it is important. If you do not know what your objective is, every content you produce is just going to be random content, and that's not what you really want. Every content that you produce has to be relevant to your customers, to your prospects. You're trying to solve a problem, and you're trying to help them, you're trying to educate them, you're trying to give them value. And then you need to structure it. How are you going to produce your content? When are you going to produce your content? What's the time frame that you're going to produce your content in? So a content calendar is a great accountability tool. Now I use content calendar with another technique, which is called don't break the chain rule. I'll talk more about that in another video. But this is a great way to show, okay, what are you going to plan for the next 10 weeks? And then you use that with another accountability system so that you're very effective in your planning and in your accomplishments as well. So that if you know what you're going to accomplish by the end of 10 weeks, the whole idea is, are you going to execute on it? So this is a small little piece of tool that I use and I cherish a lot, because it just gives me a strategy of how I want to go ahead and plan my content. So giving an example, I like to use pencil and paper. So for me, I basically have a list of all my content for my podcast in one. From here it starts, and I got the next 40 podcasts written down on a pencil and a piece of paper, all focused on one objective, which is to position our brand as Vancouver SEO expert. Now you can use this on pencil and paper, pen and paper. You can use tools out there. Even though I'm very techie in the sense, like I do a lot of programming and stuff, for me, pen and paper is still the go-to way for me to keep myself accountable. It's just because I like writing. So you can figure out your ways of how you want to keep yourself accountable. But if you are producing content, make sure you're planning at least 5 to 10 weeks ahead of time, so that you have a clear goal and a clear path to be consistent and disciplined. If you found this video meaningful and exciting and enlightening, I highly recommend you to subscribe below to our video channel, or you can even follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and also go to our blog. Our blog is called blog.antsand.com. All the information is going to be below, and you can actually download this content calendar, and there's a link to it below. And subscribe to our blog, because our blog is filled with information like this in a written form, and it's got a lot of tools that you can download that can help you become a better marketer. Thank you.